Hello and welcome to the Team Tava demonstration for the CSC 582 final project. We're going to start out showing you our repository, which is publicly available. And if you visit our repository, the first thing you'll see is a README file which describes how to use the web application from the point of view of a parent working with their child. This walks you through the different pages that you can visit in the web application. But we have a different README file that is more useful to instructors, and that is located in the bedtime story directory where we have all of our code. In this directory, there's a README file that describes how to launch the application, and it notes some of the things that you need to have installed prior to launching in order for it to work correctly. Of course, you can read through this and contact us if you have any questions. I won't follow this step by step here. I'll just show you what happens when you launch. So we have two terminals open in the bedtime story directory. And first we're going to launch the front end, which is an Angular project. So we're going to use ng-serve to launch it. And simultaneously, in the other terminal, we're going to launch the back end, which is a Node project. So we're going to let these get started. And as soon as the Angular project finishes compiling, I'll open a browser window and we can show what it's like to use the project. Okay, we're going to go to localhost 4200 because that is the port that the Angular is running on. And it will talk to the backend node server as needed to get information. You can see here that we have a header. This will be visible at all times so that at all times you can click home to come back to this page. Otherwise, we just want to get started. The first question that we're faced with is, how old are you? This affects what happens next in a number of different ways. One way is that we're going to ask you some questions to help guide the development of the story. And if you're a very young child, you'll see few questions, and for each question you'll have few options. But if you're an older kid, you'll see many more questions and have many more options per question. Another way in which age influences the story is that older kids tend to see more challenging vocabulary within the story. So for simplicity of demonstration, we're going to choose to be a very young child. Say next. You're then asked if you would like to answer questions that will help build your story. If you decide no, basically what this does is the application will make those choices for you randomly. Instead, we're going to choose yes. And because we're a young child, we only have 2 questions and 2 options per question. So we're going to pick a boy's name that we like. I like this one. And we're going to pick an animal that we like. That's a kitten. One other thing I'd like you to notice on this page is that the images have kind of a common look and feel. They all have this kind of dreamy, magical feel. That's because we hand-picked images to make sure that they were safe for kids, and then we fed them all through the Google Deep Dreams API to give them all a common look and feel. So we've picked a boy's name and an animal. Then we're going to click Tell Me a Story, and it will generate a story for us. And if we want to make another story, and again we say that we're 3 years old, and again we want to answer questions, we'll see that we actually get different questions. Last time we chose a boy's name, this time we're going to choose a girl's name. You have different animals to choose from as well. We might also have the case, one time we might visit and it might ask us what's our favorite color and so on. So these all vary from visit to make the experience more interesting for the child. We will again click Tell Me a Story. We'll see a new story. We can do this all day long and we should see at least slightly different stories. We have 3 main story arcs. Within that, various things are randomized, such as vocabulary and a few choices of what takes place in the story. It should never be the case that a child visiting 2 times in a row gets the exact same experience. If we say we do not want to make another story, then we're brought right back to the home page. That about wraps it up. Of course, when you use the instructions in the README file to install what you need to install and launch what you need to launch, you'll be taken here and you can take as much time as you like to explore. As always, if you have any technical questions or user experience questions, please contact Team Tava. Thank you.